Have you ever wondered why some people have a knack for setting pretty audacious goals, pretty high, ridiculous goals sometimes, and getting damn near close to actually achieving them, or sometimes even surpassing those goals? While on the other hand, you have people, maybe like yourself, I've struggled with this, I still struggle with this, who have a hard time setting those really high goals, who have a hard time actually taking steps to achieve those goals, right? So, once into the spectrum, super high setting goal people, people who actually achieve those goals and or get really close, or in the middle, somewhere in the middle, people who do set high goals, but people who just fall short of those goals. And then on the far end of the spectrum, you have people who are too afraid to set high goals. They may set very easily achievable goals, things that don't really challenge their capacity, or people who don't set goals at all and don't even take the first step to actually achieving those goals. Is there something actually different between those two types of people? Is there a fundamental difference between those people who actually go forward and set those goals versus the people who struggle to actually set those goals, let alone take the first step? So after doing a bit of reading and researching, I actually saw something that kind of stood out as not the end all be all when it comes to the differences between these two groups of people, but it did stand out as something that could explain a little bit of the difference. And I think it might be worth implementing into our lives. And to make a long story short, that factor is something called specificity. And so in today's video, we're going to kind of go through the scientific literature over specificity, what specificity is, and how we can actually implement it. Our first stop takes us to the remarkable study conducted by Edwin and Gary Latham. In this study, they sought to unravel the intricate relationship between goal setting and performance. These researchers basically want to figure out, hey, is there any relationship between setting difficult, medium difficulty, easy goals? Is there a relationship between that and how well these people actually perform in the pursuit of these goals? The two researchers carefully curated a group of participants and assigned them to different types of goals. Some were given specific difficult goals while others had no goals at all or were handed relatively easy goals. The participants then engaged in a range of tasks, each tailored to evaluate their performance under that specific condition. For example, participants faced problem solving challenges that required them to solve complex puzzles or logical reasoning problems. Their ability to navigate these intricate tasks was assessed with their performance measured based on the accuracy and efficiency of their solutions. In addition, physical fitness targets were set for participants involved in physical activities. These goals included running a certain distance within a given time frame, achieving a specific number of repetitions in strength training exercises, and even trying to lift a certain amount of total volume and weight. Moreover, participants engaged in sales tasks where they were assigned specific sales quotas to achieve. These goals were measured in terms of revenue generated, number of successful client acquisitions, or meeting predetermined sales targets within a specific time period. By providing participants with these specific challenging tasks, Locke and Latham, the two researchers, made a pretty remarkable discovery. Those armed with clear, ambitious goals outperformed their counterparts by a significant margin. The individuals who dared to set the bar high, who defined their objectives with crystal clarity, displayed remarkable levels of achievement in their assigned tasks. So what exactly does that mean for us, though? This emphasizes the tremendous impact of setting clear and ambitious goals. When we aim for the stars, when we set our sights high, when we define our path with precision, we tap into an immense well of motivation and determination. It's as if these specific goals, difficult goals, serve as a catalyst, igniting like a spark within us that propels us forward, driving us to surpass our own expectations. So that was a pretty solid study. Now let's kind of turn our attention to a very similar study that was conducted in 2016. But in this study, they sought to discover if there is a connection between goal setting, setting clear, concise goals, and performance. But this study also took into account task enjoyment, whether or not the people who was engaged in this process of achieving their goals, whether it be a clear, precise, difficult goal, or a very easy to achieve goal, or a very vague goal with no clarity involved, right? They just decided, hey, we want to see how they do in pursuit of their goal. Are they performing well? But we also want to know if they are enjoying that process. So similar to the first study, the participants who had specific challenging goals outperformed those in the control group who did not have that specificity or a challenging goal. Their task performance soared to new heights, right? So basically, they showcase this study again is showcasing the power of setting clear and concise goals, being specific. But we already knew that based off the first study, so let's get to the good stuff, right? So here's where the comparison takes an interesting turn. Unlike the previous study, Nes and the other researcher also explored the participants' enjoyment. And guess what? Guess what? The participants in the challenging clear goal group reported higher levels of fulfillment and enjoyment compared to the group that did not have that clear and concise goal, that did not have the challenging goals either. So what does that mean for us? This 2016 study basically adds another layer to understanding of the impact on goal setting, on task performance. It only not like we already knew that, so it kind of reaffirms the importance of setting specific goals, specific challenging goals, but it also kind of highlights the added benefit of the increased enjoyment in the process. All right, we want to enjoy that process as much as possible, because if we can enjoy that process from an outsider, right? Us being an outsider, it looks terrible. It looks like torture. But if we can find some enjoyment in it, it can kind of increase our adherence and lead to long-term success in whatever that process is for whatever you're trying to achieve. Now let's explore yet another study that kind of dives into the effectiveness of goal setting, specific goals, specificity, remember. Our attention turns to the research conducted by Pascal Sheeran and Martin H. Fischer. And this is a 2005 study titled The Effectiveness of Implementation Intentions in Increasing Physical Activity Levels. Okay, so this is pretty different. This one I kind of got excited when I was reading this because it was more so focused on the physical fitness aspect, and me being an online coach, this is something that I was like, man, I can probably use this to help more people. So in this study, Sheeran and his colleagues set out to investigate how implementation intentions, which are specific plans that link a situational cue to a behavioral response. So basically, an example of a implementation intention is if I told myself the day before, earlier that day, that if I come into a situation where I'm opening the refrigerator, my intention, is going to be to drink 16 ounces of water in that bottle. So when I do open the fridge later in that day and I do see that water bottle, the idea is that, okay, since I've already prepared myself for this moment, since I already planned this moment, I'm probably going to follow through and drink that water. So that's basically what an implementation intention is. So these researchers want to figure out if these implementation intentions affect the levels of physical activity. So their approach kind of takes a different angle again, and let's kind of dive into what these researchers found. Participants in the study were divided into two groups: those who received general information about the benefits of physical activity, and those who received the same information along with implementation intentions. The activities involved in the study focus specifically on increasing physical activity levels. So you got one group that just has general information about how physical fitness can be beneficial for them, and then you have another group who has that same information, but then also has been given information about the implementation intentions. So the participants who formed implementation intentions, meaning they set specific plans to engage in physical activity in response to certain cues or situations, showed significantly higher levels of physical activity, there you go, compared to those who received general information alone. The power of implementation intentions becomes evident in the results. What becomes clear from these studies that we kind of looked at is that goal setting, whether through specific goals, challenging goals, or even implementation intentions, they play a vital role in enhancing performance and enjoyment across different areas of life. Specificity is a powerful tool that can be applied to various domains, from problem solving to physical fitness. As we wrap up our explanation of these studies, we've uncovered a common thread that runs through them all. From the first research on goal setting and various tasks to that 2016 study on goal setting and task enjoyment, and even to the last study we just talked about with physical activity and implementation intentions, one thing is pretty clear, right? Specificity is the key to unlocking this action, this potential that we all have within us. Setting clear, challenging goals, defining specific plans, and linking them to a situational cue can help ignite that spark within us, propelling us forward towards success, helping us get from the group that constantly struggles with setting high goals and struggles with actually taking steps to achieve them, to slowly moving towards that group of people who constantly seem to be setting really high goals and surpassing them. Now, armed with the knowledge from these studies, let's go out and conquer our goals. The time for action was yesterday, but we can't get our time back, so we got to act now.